Hello, third grade, and welcome to our math for today. We'll be looking at solving two-step problems in the next couple of lessons. Now, when we are looking at two-step problems, that means that we will be using two operations. Remember, operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And they use keywords to help you decide which operation we should use. If we are adding something, then we would use addition. If we are taking away, we would use subtraction. If we are finding how many are in each group, we would multiply. And if we are sharing, we would divide. Let's go ahead and read through the problem and follow along with me in your book. We are on page 574, and this is in our volume 2. Pause the video if you need some time to get there. Alright, let's go ahead and begin. The results of a car survey are shown in the table. How many fewer cars in the survey have poor fuel efficiency than have either good or average fuel efficiency? Use estimation to check the answer. Efficiency means how well it uses the fuel. So maybe a car will get a certain amount of miles on 1 gallon of fuel. So we can see, remember, this is called a data table where it gives us numbers for certain topics on the side. We see that the fuel efficiency, if it's good, there are 98. If it's average, there's 165. And if it's poor, there's 224. Now let's begin with our first step. First, we need to find the hidden question. When we are answering two-step word problems, one will be in the question form, and the other one we need to come up with on our own. Something we need before we can answer the real question. And that one is, how many total cars in the survey have either good or average fuel efficiency? If we look at the diagram, if they have good or average, we need to add those together to find how many total there are. You can see in the diagram that they have 98 and 165 that they're adding together. We're going to go ahead and write this out to the side. I know it's right here, but we're going to practice addition on the side as well. So write out 165, and then write out 98, lining up the tens place and the ones place. Now when we are adding, if our sum is larger than 9, then we have to carry over to the next place value. And 5 plus 8 is 13. So I'm going to drop the 3, carry the 1 to the next place value. 1 plus 6 is 7. And 7 plus 9 is 16. So I'm going to drop the 1's place, carry the next. Finally, 1 plus 1 is 2. Now I can remove my fingers, and yep, there it is, our total. Both of those fuel efficiencies, good and average. There are a total of 263 cars. Now in math, they use letters instead of question marks sometimes. So right here it says that X is the total, the unknown total. And our total was 263. Now that still doesn't answer our question. How many fewer cars in the survey have poor fuel efficiency than have good or average fuel efficiency? So our first operation was addition. Our second one, we need to find the difference. Remember, this word right here, difference, means that we need to subtract. So we're going to start with the total number of cars that are good and average, and subtract the amount that have poor fuel efficiency, 224. Largest number goes on top. Smaller number goes below. Go ahead and write that out. And remember, if there are more on the floor, I need to go next door and borrow one and bring 10 next door. 3 minus 4. If I have 3 stars, can I take away 4? No, there are more on the floor, so I need to go next door, borrow 1, and add 10 more. 3 plus 10 is 13. 13 minus 4. Remember my teacher trick, I like to put the bottom number in my head and count up to the top number and then see what the answer is on my fingers. So you can also do this by drawing lines. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to start at 4 and draw tally marks until I get to 13. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I had to count up 9. So my difference is 9. If I have 5 and take away 2, that is 3. 2, take away 2, that is nothing. 39 fewer cars have poor fuel efficiency. And that is our answer, so I'm going to circle it. We are not going to do the convince me part. We're going to move on to the next page. How do the diagrams help you write equations for the problems on page 574? So how do you know that this means that we need to subtract? Well, we know that we're taking a larger number, taking away a smaller number. And if I do that with anything, if I take a large number and take away a smaller number, that's subtraction. So that's how the diagrams help me understand what the operation is. Let's move on to number 2. Model with math. Josie has $145. She buys a bike for $127. The next week, she saves $15. How much money does Josie have now? Complete the bar diagram and the equations to solve. So first we need to circle what we know. We know that Josie has $145. She buys a bike for $127. So if her total is 145 and she has to pay 127, we need to figure out how much she has left over. Would we have to add, subtract, multiply, or divide to find this? We would have to subtract. So let's subtract on the side. Go ahead and write this out with me. Remember, you can pause the video at any time to catch up. Starting in the ones place, if there's more on the floor, I need to go next door, take 1 away, and borrow 10 more. 15 minus 7. I'm going to use my line trick. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The difference is 8. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0, and I don't have to write that down. So there's $18 left over. Now as I'm going through this, I'm going to highlight the parts I've already done to help me keep track of what comes next. The next week, she saves $15. How much money does Josie have now? Well, she had 18, and then she also saved 15. How can I find the total? I'd have to add 18 plus 15. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that off because I've already done it. 8 plus 5 is 13. Carry the 1. Excuse me. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. She has a total of $33 now with what she saved and what she paid for her bike. Make sure you have all of this written down, and then we're going to go on to number 3. So in the directions it says, in 3, use the map, draw diagrams, and write equations to solve. Use letters to represent unknown quantities. So instead of a question mark, I'm using a letter. Model with math. Manuel's family drove from Louisville to Indianapolis to Detroit and then directly back to Louisville. How much farther did they drive going to Detroit than returning from Detroit? So let's go ahead and start by looking at the map and highlighting as we are adding. Find my highlighter. There we go. So Manuel's family drove from Louisville to Indianapolis to Detroit. So that's how they got to Detroit. They started in Louisville, they went to Indianapolis, and then they went to Detroit. And that was 239 miles plus 114 miles. So I need to find the total from Louisville to Detroit on the way there. So I'm going to write there. They drove 283 plus 114. Make sure you're writing this along with me. 3 plus 4 is 7. 8 plus 1 is 9. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So that's what they drove on the way there. All right, miles. Then on the way back, we know that they drove 361 miles. So we already know that part. How much farther did they drive going to Detroit than returning from Detroit? So we're going to have to find the difference. Remember the difference, the largest number goes on top, and the smaller number goes below. Difference is the same thing for subtraction. 7 minus 1 is 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. And 3 minus 3 is nothing. So they drove 36 miles longer on the way back than the way there. Sorry, shorter than on the way back than on the way there. Circle your answer. This is not my answer. This was my hidden question. This is the answer to my hidden question. But my final question, 36 miles is my answer. We are not going to do number 4. Complete the other activities for math today, and you can keep moving along.